I just said that, Tom.
No.
Look, I said it like 5 times. I could just say it another 5 times. We didn't do anything well enough to win tonight. Williams.
Wide receiver.
There's 2 of them. Look, I told you what's going to happen.
So there's this.
Jesus Christ. Any questions about the game or not? What's obvious? Did you see the game tonight? He's seriously asking that question. We're getting ready for Cincinnati. We're on to Cincinnati. Right now we're preparing for Cincinnati. We're getting ready for Cincinnati. I don't think that's appropriate here. Like I'm trying to coach a football team. It's the answer's the same for everybody. I don't know how else to state it. Look, fellas, I apologize if, it seemed like I was a little short with you.
Could Bill Belichick, the guy you just heard, be the next great TV analyst? WEEI.com's Andy Hart writing today, Belichick is probably already too entrenched in the 2022 Patriots to walk away now. He'd likely turn down any amount of money that Amazon could deliver to him, but someday soon, some crafty, overspending TV executive needs to lure Belichick to the media dark side. Forget the old days of Friends and Seinfeld. Belichick would be true must-see TV for football fans. Can't hurt to ask him and throw money at him, right? After all, as the $1 Million Man used to say, everybody's got a price, and NFL TV is already paying the craziest of prices these days. Welcome into our Bella Early Edition. Phil Perry, Amina Smith here with you alongside Andy Hart, filling in for Trenny Kuznirik. And before we get into how great Bill Belichick would be on TV, Andy, I have to ask you, you said, it would happen sooner rather than later. Just how soon could we see Bill Belichick cross over to the dark side?
Well, as Phil probably knows, I'm taking the under on Bill Belichick's tenure. I got into an argument with Tom Curran on one of these shows in the past where he said, Bill's 5-year plan. And I just don't see him going that long. And then you look at the money that's being thrown around that's attempting to lure guys like Sean McVay, who's 36. I mean, Bill Belichick's about to turn 70 years old. If Amazon or one of these networks comes at him with $25 million a year, and I know that sounds ridiculous, but it isn't, I think he might have to consider it. The level of stress decline doing TV 2 or 3 days a week compared to answering all those questions from us silly reporters every single day and trying to win games, that could be a palatable proposition for him.
We're going to have to pin you down on the sooner rather than later business, though, Andy, because it's not going to happen this year. I really don't think it's going to happen next year. So now you're talking about maybe 3 or 4 years down the line. I just love it. I do love the plan on your end because I would love to see it. I would love to see Bill Belichick commentating on games and criticizing players and praising players and breaking things down. I mean, he would immediately be the best, I think, at that job. We've already seen him on TV, Amina. The guy's won an Emmy. He's got more Emmys than I do. Just based on that NFL media thing that he did on the 100 greatest players in the game. And he was phenomenal with that. So I think it would be, as Andy said, must-watch TV, but not just because everybody thinks that he would be the guy that he is at the podium. Right. It would be because he's actually good at it.
Now, Phil, you've been around Bill Belichick for several years, obviously covering the Patriots. Do you think that he would really step away from football to do TV media? Because in my opinion, I can't really see Bill Belichick doing it. Of course, I would tune in. I would watch. Football fans would absolutely love it. But do you think that's realistic?
We might actually get Bill Belichick at the Combine. He every once in a while will meet with Rich Eisen and step in with the NFL Network crew and talk a little bit there in Indy. No, I don't think he will. I mean, I think when he decides he's done with the coaching side of it, then maybe he would advance into TV. But would he look at, say, a 2 or 3 year plan, Andy, and say, this is how I want to do things on the sidelines the next several years, and then back out of that to get into TV? That I can't see.
I think he wants to leave the Patriots in solid hands, solid footing. So I think after the 2023 season would legitimately be a consideration because I think we're going to talk about it later in the show. I think their kind of retooling here on the fly, I think is a couple years down the road till you're actually potentially a Super Bowl contender, a team that's kind of atop the AFC in that mix. And if he gets the team to that point and maybe the coaching staff is a little more settled and the transition of power at the quarterback and then at the head coach and through the coaching staff, I think it might be something he'd consider. I do know he really enjoyed the time he spent at NFL Network doing those 100 greatest players. And I think he got a taste of that. I think he kind of enjoys some of the stuff he does for Patriots.com, the Bellustrator and the breaking it down. And as I said, if you can stay engaged with football, I mean, look at what we just saw with John Madden in the documentary about John Madden on Fox, and the way he stayed engaged in the game after his coaching career, a much longer period that he started at a younger age. I think that's something that might appeal to Bill if he can get the Patriots to where he feels like he can hand the keys over to somebody and walk away in good conscience.
And there are also reports out there that Fox and Amazon are targeting Tom Brady to be inside of the booth or also in studio as well. Phil, if you're a TV executive and you got all this money to throw at Bill Belichick or Tom Brady, who do you choose? Who do you take, or who's going to be the more entertaining person on TV?
I'm going after Belichick first. I am. I just think he'd be better at it.
Yeah.
I think Tom Brady looks more like a broadcaster, I guess. The guy is Hollywood handsome. We know that. But in terms of breaking the game down, I'm not sure he'd be necessarily as excited to do the things that I think modern day football viewers want to see, which is what made Tony Romo great. Like the first year or two that he was a color commentator was the X's and O's, breaking things down in real time. I just think Bill Belichick would be more excited and just playing better at that, Andy, than Tom Brady would.
Yeah, I think it's Bill by a mile. I think we've seen from Tom Brady over the years, he tells us he lies 90% of the time when he speaks. He changes his opinions on almost everything, seemingly every year. It kind of blows with the wind with him. Even his retirement, he's 2 weeks in. Oh, never say never. I just think Bill would be so decisive. And if you could get one thing I do like is the idea of Amazon, a streaming network where Bill can be Bill, no FCC, so he can drop a couple F-bombs here and there if he wants to and not have to apologize. I think Bill would be phenomenal. I think Tom cares too much about his image. I think he'd be boring and packaged.
I think Bill would definitely be must-see TV, but the personality that I've seen from Tom Brady in the last 2 years,